Alright, what's up guys? This is the trade recap for 420 and this is April 20th, Monday, market open. So unfortunately on this trade we lost it today. This trade I was thinking longs to the upside, but unfortunately that didn't work out, and I'll show you guys the trade that I took. This was the trade that I took. We eventually got stopped out of it, but I'll just mark you guys through everything that I saw and the opportunities that we had. We already have some stuff marked up in here, but not a whole lot. Let's see, first of all, yes. So, new day open, we came in and we actively swept this 30-minute draw on liquidity right here. And after we swept that 30-minute draw on liquidity and we didn't have no moves out of it after this new day open, I thought we were going to move a lot higher only because we didn't close up underneath this. And during this, I saw this whole imbalanced price range that I wanted to target. Let's see, what else did we find up in here? There was a inverse fair value gap as well that I saw during pre-market. Right there. 30-minute inverse fair value gap, followed by break of structure to the upside. Now we're going to confirm our uptrend, and we're moving a lot higher. There was more confirmation confluences on this one down here. Even if we look in here, we have that 30-minute inverse. Then we even have a 15-minute inverse that I had. So to me, it's just a clear moves to the upside, moving in, and we had a big bullish run to the upside. And while we were in this, we created a lot of 5-minute low resistance draws on liquidity that price could have well came down and targeted. Now the reason why my buy-in was up here during market open, I'll show you guys where my buy-in was. My buy-in was around right there with market open. Now I know what you guys might be thinking, like, Javesh, why didn't you wait for the retracement down? Yeah, why didn't I wait for the retracement down into this position? That's only because we are this deep into the gap, and judging this based off how high it rushed up, I didn't want price to move another, like, let's draw out the equilibrium to see how many ticks price would have had to move down if we were gauging it up until here. If we were gauging it up until this 15-minute position, price would have to move down 180 ticks, so almost 200 ticks. Price would have to move down. Price would have to move down a lot of ticks. Now, because of this, we could have had an inverse fair value gap on lower time frames, and until we broke trend right here on this 5-minute low, I started having a bearish bias. So unfortunately, we broke structure right here, and then we moved and we got stopped out, right? But funny enough, we came in, and in this 5-minute period, when we came up here, I thought we were going to sweep the liquidity and come up here. There was an equilibrium right here on this 5-minute time frame that could have got touched. I mean, it got touched right there, but everybody who was bullish throughout this imbalanced price range gap, those people had gotten stopped out right here. This candle shot down all the way here and stopped it out, and that just almost confirms our bearish bias. Now, one thing that I do want to point out is, alright, we're moving in, and when we sweep the liquidity off this 15-minute low because we don't break trend, and we're moving back up to fill this gap. Now, if we fill this gap, which is another 15-minute equilibrium from that high to that low, we would think, okay, because we came in here, we had the fair value gap, we had this. If we had the inverse fair value gap, one, we would be moving a lot higher. Two, if we didn't have this inverse fair value gap and we're just judging based off this equilibrium position, then we have moved a lot lower. So to me, I'm not too upset about losing this trade, only because I have a lot of good bias when it comes to trading imbalanced price range. We've seen it before in many trades that I took. Each imbalanced price range trade that I took this week, every new day open imbalanced price range trade that I took, I had won that trade, and like all of them. But we were already this deep into the imbalanced price range, so unfortunately we did not close where I wanted to close. I ultimately wanted to close right at the imbalanced price range right there, that we would have a really good RR. And at the same time, if we're judging based on 15-minute time frame, that is a very bad RR in my opinion. I mean, 1.83 down to 2.87 it's almost guaranteed that we would have lost that trade. So unfortunately, this is just like to me a bad price action. There is some stuff that we could have happened that would have went good. There's some stuff that could have happened that we went bad. But at the end of the day, let's look at this now that market's about to close. We're obviously in after hours now. One, price didn't come in and price did not take out any 1 hour draws on liquidity. Price didn't come in, price didn't take out any 30-minute draws on liquidity. Highs or lows. We didn't retest back down to this. We retested back down to this right here, but there was no confirmation confluence is running into this period other than we had a other than we moved down and we had the equilibrium filament as well as like small fair value gap filament up here, and then we had the breaker structures down here, and then boom, just candle all the way to the downside. That's only a confirmation confluences, but honestly, what could have caused that other than the imbalanced price range? I don't see significant draws on liquidity that price targeted. Price didn't reverse off any highs in this area price range just because it's an imbalance. So well off, I would look for it to cover this full imbalance price range, because now if we're looking at after hours markets from this high down, that low down to this high, what do we have? We have imbalanced price range that still didn't get targeted into all this up here. So ultimately with this trade, there's a lot of back testing I need to do to it to see if one, our strategy was wrong, or two, it was just bad price action day. I mean, I checked Forex Factory running into this trade, and during Forex Factory, there wasn't no major Forex news to the downside. There wasn't actually no bearish news at all or bullish news in the news today. So honestly, I thought today was going to be a nice regular trading day. But one thing that I do want to add in, we checked the calendar. What are we in? We are in the second to last week of May. When do we know that the Trump news came out? The Trump news came out that he was going to postpone the war up here on the 6th. I'm pretty sure that's when the news came out. And what did he say during that? He said, alright guys, we are going to postpone this war for 2 weeks. 1 week, 2 weeks. We are now in the second week of this war phase going in the month of April. So this is a week that we could honestly look into placing more moves to the downside. This is a buy the rumor, sell the news event. So honestly, going into it, since SPY is at all-time highs, I would look honestly I would look for these targets down here at 705 and 702. I would look for price to come in right there. I mean, that's on 5-minute time frame, but if we look on 1 hour time frame, I would look for shorts all the way down here. Maybe by the end of the week, maybe by the next 2 weeks, or by the war news comes out, because we'll have bullish news going into that. Or this is another way, in my opinion, that market makers, market movers could just keep using bullish structure all the way through this week and all the way through next week to make when the news actually comes out to send the market down in the other direction. That's all my thoughts and biases. Obviously, do not trade based on my thoughts and biases. I am just putting them out on the internet. I'm not a financial advisor by any means necessary. So I am not in charge of whether you win or lose your trade. I'm just showing you guys what strategy works best for me, how I trade, the conditions, the news conditions, and how I leverage my environment around me. All in all, this was the trade that I took today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was a nice, short, simple one. I gotta do a lot more back testing on this, but I hope for good trades tomorrow. Peace, love, always. I'll catch you in the next one.